before I introduce today's guest, I want to start with a question. I like to start every one of these sessions with this question. That question is, it was posed by the former CEO of Unilever. His name is Paul Polman. He's a friend of B1G1's. And the question he asked in his book, Net Positive, was, is the world a better place because your business is in it? Now, the reason I love this question so much and like to start these events with that question is because it's really central to everything we do here at B1G1. Because that is really what B1G1 is all about. It's what the B1G1 movement is all about. We enable businesses to create more meaning and purpose through their everyday activities, because it means that these businesses can become a force for good. You see, we believe, and our members believe, and I'm sure Miren believes as well, is that being a business for good isn't just great for the world, but it's great for business too. And that's why we started this Profit Meets Purpose web event series, because it's an amazing opportunity to spotlight incredible businesses like Miren's all over the world and see how they're integrating B1G1 and how it's positively impacting the things that they do, how it's engaging their team members more passionately, how it's generating more growth, and all these other amazing things that we're going to come on to. So do keep that question of Paul Polman's in mind throughout this session. Before I introduce Miren, for those that don't know, my name is Jack and I'm B1G1's Partnerships Manager. It's so good to have you all here today. And I'm going to introduce today's guest. Miren has been involved with B1G1 now for, I believe, a decade. Is that right, Miren?
Almost, 2016.
2016. Okay, so next year marks your 10-year anniversary, which is absolutely amazing. Miren is joining us from Florida, and she's the founder of Oak Aquatic Swim School. Miren, it's honestly amazing to have you with us today, so thank you for being here.
Oh, well, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
And you're also our first guest over in the States, so that's pretty special as well.
Oh, great. Good.
Yeah, cool. So for those that don't know you or the business, just give us a snapshot about what you guys do over there in Florida.
Sure. So Oak Aquatics is a swim school. We're based in Miami, Florida. We teach swimming and water safety, and we teach thousands of families a week right now in 5 purpose-built indoor warm water locations. We're certified B Corporation. We're also 100% employee owned. I hope we can get into that today. But we started 31 years ago. I was in college. I wasn't meant to be in business, and I was studying biochemistry, and I was getting my degree, and I was going to go to med school and become an orthopedic surgeon. And life took a very unexpected turn, and I became pregnant in college. So I moved to Miami to be closer to family, and I started teaching swimming lessons. And because it's what I knew how to do, I needed to make a living. And I did finish my degree. When I graduated, my son was 18 months old.
Wow.
But I thought, I can't go to med school with an 18-month-old. So I thought, let me just keep doing this little business until he gets older, and then I'll go to med school. And he's 33 now. I never went to med school, and the business has grown and grown and grown. And I have just had an incredible ride. It's been pretty amazing, what we've built over the years.
Yeah, it really is amazing. For those that don't know anything about the business, it's incredible. You should check it out. And it's grown into so much more than a swim school, right? I mean, it started all those years ago, and the way it's transformed over the years, I'm sure even has astonished you. Yeah, I'd love to talk a little bit more about particularly the employee-owned side of things, because that's quite unusual, right? It's not something you see every day. So tell us a bit more about that and how that came to pass and why it's so important for the business.
Sure. So we actually, we were being approached by private equity, for the last 10 years or so. And when I hit my 30-year anniversary, as I was getting closer to that 30-year, I knew I needed to do something. So for about 5 years before that, I started really researching what to do. And I went to my son first. This is the son who had changed the trajectory of my life. So I asked him if he wanted the business, and he was very good at the business. He had worked in it for a really long time. But he wanted to do his own thing. So then I looked at getting it into the hands of my employees, and I looked at doing it DIY, selling it to a few, doing different things, doing different stock options. I looked at co-ops. I looked at an employee stock ownership plan as well. And one day I found this employee ownership trust. And it follows the perpetual purpose trust model here in the United States, but there are only 37 right now to date that are employee-owned trusts.
Okay.
And they're very common in the UK, but not here yet. But we're really hoping to change that because it really was a really amazing model for us. It kind of checked all the boxes that I wanted to hit, and it kept my ownership local. It was a great exit for me. I'm still here, so I'm still the CEO, but it was just a really good succession plan. I was able to transition the ownership, and now we're working on leadership, working on, I didn't have to do them together at the same time. So,
Mm.
and it's just been a really great thing for the team. We have always had this ownership culture and this ownership mindset. And when this happened, it just really just made it more real, and it has really leveled up their engagement, and they're just such amazing team members. They were already, but now it's even better.
Yeah, awesome. How many team members do you have on there?
So right now we have about 150 staff, 150 team members, but some of those are part-time, some of those are full, about 55 full-time. We have 54 owners right now. And once someone has worked with us for 2,500 hours, they qualify to become a co-owner.
2,500 hours. I'm not going to do the maths on how many days that is.
It's
Someone else.
about 15 months of full-time
Okay,
work.
cool. That's
But
really, really cool.
we have part-time co-owners as
Okay,
well.
honestly, so cool. As I say, it's not something you see every day. So, when I learned this about you some years ago now, it was just like, it just felt quite unique in that respect.
Mhm.
So you mentioned, this business is over 30 years old, right? And you joined B1G1 as a member 10 years ago now. Well, 10 years next year. And if I'm not wrong in saying, you created in that time, I think it's 1.5 million impacts. Is that right?
Well, I haven't checked the
You
number
haven't checked
recently.
recently. I'm telling you, it's 1.5 million impacts.
That's pretty amazing. Wow, I hadn't realized that. I
Yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
amazing.
it is amazing. And let me tell you why it's amazing. Because for those that don't know, here at B1G1, an impact is the unit of measurement that we use for giving, right? So that could be 5 trees planted, 5 impacts. If you provide access to education to a child for, say, 20 days, that's 20 impacts. That's how it works in its simplest form. So to think that you created in your time with us, just under 10 years, 1.5 million impacts,
Mhm.
it's astonishing, really. I mean, it's absolutely amazing what you and the team have been able to achieve in a time that you've been with us. You should be really, really proud of that. It's so incredibly inspiring. I'm sure for the businesses watching this, they feel the same. So firstly, congratulations on that. But tell me why you decided to join B1G1 when you did. And you've spoken about your team members, how it plays out with the way that you work with them, and how it's inspired them to continue with you.
Well, it's a funny story because I actually went to a business networking thing in Miami, and they were the lunchtime speakers, or Masami and Paul were there. And when they did the talk, I thought, oh my goodness, this is what we're trying to do. This is what we believe in. I was never meant to be in business. So I don't think I was running my business the same way normal business owners were doing. I was really trying to find, how do we really weave in purpose? How do we do things differently? How do we take care of our people? And so I loved what they were saying. I loved, Masami and Paul's message. And I joined B1G1 at that time. And it just so happens the next year they did a conference in Miami. And so I did attend that conference. And that's where I learned about B Corp certification, because there was someone in the audience who was who was a certified B Corporation. And I thought, what is that? And then B1G1 was becoming a B Corp at that time. And so that got us even further down that path. So I owe B1G1 a debt of gratitude for that, for getting us even more focused on that journey. But we have taught over 3 million swimming lessons, Oak Aquatics, to date. And so we first started by, for every swimming lesson we taught, we would donate access to 1 day of water. And then we changed it up a little bit, and we wanted it to be a little bit more where our team members got to choose their impact. So when they complete a survey, they got to choose whatever impact they wanted. And we had a kind of a menu where they could make choices. We did that for our families. When our families come for swimming lessons, we do surveys. Once they complete the survey, they get to choose an impact. So it involved them, but it also taught them about the organization, which was really great. And that way we get the message out there. We get to teach more people about it. So it has been really good to involve the community about it, because it has been such an interesting, it's such a different way of doing things and such a different way of making impacts. And it is that power of small. So many people think it has to be a big check, to a charity. And really, it's the power of very small, consistent. I mean, we all know that in this room, but it's just that power of small, consistent impacts every single day. And we've been really excited to teach that to our team and to our families.
Yeah, the power of small, right?
Mm-hmm.
We speak about it all the time here at B1G1, and how the power of small can become the power of all, right? All these micro impacts,
Mm-hmm.
they all add up to create hundreds of millions of impacts across the globe. And it's really, really cool that you played such a big part in that. And Paul and Masami, obviously, for those that don't know, are B1G1's co-founders. And I remember, I didn't go to that conference in Miami, but I remember it all those years ago. So that's really, really cool that you were there. So so the team that you work with, they must really enjoy being able to choose the projects and be involved in that process of where the giving is going, right?
They do, but our families love it too. Like, we just had an anniversary party in February where we celebrated our 31-year anniversary. And every person who attended, when they registered at the front door, they got a ticket and they put it in the fishbowl of their favorite impact. So they were able to go through and read all the different impacts that we had selected that they could put their ticket into. And then we made those donations after the anniversary event. And 1,000 people showed up for that party. It was a 3-hour event. It was not meant to be a 1,000 people event, but it was just one of those things. It wasn't a pool party. We're heavily invested in the environment. So it was very environmentally focused. It was very much about impact, about giving. And our families showed up for that. And that showed me that they are interested in this. And this is important to our families and to our customers. And it's also very, very important to our team members. It really does help to keep them engaged and inspired with the work that they do. Not only are they saving lives by the work they do teaching swimming, but they also get to make these impacts, and they get to think about things outside of their everyday life right here. So it has been great. I mean, it makes it so easy. It really does make giving so easy.
And it's so cool that it's not just your team members, like internally, who this impacts in a positive way, but obviously it's clearly like community is very important to you, right? And you'll be seeing the same children and same families, I'm imagining, each week for lessons. So strengthen that relationship with those families and to build that sense of community through the giving that's really, really cool.
It's been really great. It's been really, really cool. And it just, again, it exposes them to so much more. There are so many different impacts in B1G1 that you can do. We just introduced a dentist to B1G1, and just to see, I hadn't realized that there were so many opportunities to provide dental care to underserved areas and underserved communities, and it was perfect for his business. So we've chosen things that kind of align with our business. We give water. We use so much water every day, while meanwhile people on the planet don't have enough water to drink. So we do a lot of water causes. We also helped B1G1 get 1% for the planet certified. And so we do a lot of the environmental. We really do, like the tree plantings and all the solar powered projects and all of the different programs that are environmentally focused.
Yeah, I was just going to say, actually, I was inside the B1G1 platform just yesterday on a call, and I was saying to the business I was speaking with how many projects we have listed, and currently there are over 470. And I think in my time at B1G1, I've been involved with B1G1 for a similar amount of time to you, actually. I don't think there's ever been that many projects, that much selection globally where you can give. So it's really cool because there are just so many projects in so many different categories all around the world that our members can choose from. And yeah, it's cool that you spread it in that respect. Yeah, that's really, really cool. Last year, I believe you started Ripples of Impact. Is that right?
I did.
And those listening a little bit more about that and how that kind of how that aligns with your business, but also how it kind of plays with B1G1, because obviously you do such great giving through B1G1 anyway, right? You create all these global impacts. So tell us a bit more about Ripples for Impact as well.
So we, I had this business for 30 plus years. I transitioned to employee ownership in 2024. And in the summer of 2024, I thought, gosh, what's next? What is next for me? I'm still the CEO, I'm still there, but still I was kind of thinking of the next chapter in the book. And I thought about starting a nonprofit The nonprofit is called Ripples of Impact. And what I want to do with Ripples of Impact is redefine ROI for business. So normally we think return on investment, and really we need to think about the ripples of impact that we create through all of the stories and all of the things that we do in our business. And I think that perfectly aligns with what B1G1 is trying to do. It's you're helping, you have to make a profit in your business to be able to do all of the things that you want to do. But one might argue, by doing all of the extra things that we're doing, by giving to the community, by taking care of our team members, by helping the planet, we're actually a stronger business because our team members are happier, our customers are happier, our community shows up to support us. So I think it's a win-win-win, really, by doing these good things, our business does very well. And so that's Ripples of Impact is really there to show other businesses. I want to speak to other businesses about this. All of my speaking fees are donations to Ripples of Impact, and Ripples of Impact turns that around and turns that into tuition assistance or scholarships for children in underserved community to have water safety and swimming lessons. We also do environmental education to those communities, and we also do financial literacy, because that was one of the things that was so important to our team, is to be able to help them become owners of Oak Aquatics. We had to do personal financial literacy. And then we had to teach them open book management, about how to run a business and the business financials. And we've done that for many years, and I've seen the benefit of doing that. So I really wanted to try and weave that into the nonprofit as well. So it's been really fun. It's been a year and a half now, almost a year and a couple of months, and it's been really, really fun.
I'm sure you've learned a lot during that time as well.
I have learned a lot. I have learned a lot. So, but it really is, it's working, and I love other businesses seeing that light bulb go on when they say, wow, you can do well in business and do good. I mean, I think it's the Richard Branson quote that there's a, do well and do good, but it really is one of those things where we can do both, and we have to do both. You have to make a profit so that you can give, but by giving, you make more of a profit.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. And obviously the importance of making the profit allows you, it's like a resource, right? Then you can do with it.
Sure.
And I think what I hear from lots of businesses that I speak with is the beauty of B1G1 is that because the projects start from such small amounts, you don't necessarily have to wait until you're making
absolutely
amounts of profit to create a meaningful impact, right? With B1G1, you can actually link these very low cost, high impact projects to everyday activities, which in turn create these meaningful impacts. You're not having to wait until, okay, the business is making X amount of money, so we can join B1G1 and start creating. It's not like that, right? So it's great that you recognize that too, and I know that you do, that you don't have to wait to make a difference.
Right. And I think that that's really important that you brought that up, because you can build it as part of your DNA from the very beginning. You can do impacts that are a couple of cents, but it just gets it woven into your business so that it becomes a habit. It becomes part of who you are. And as you earn more, you can do more. And I really do think that is such an important and I think that's really important in anything, any change you want to make. Just start small, but start. And every single impact, every single change, every single movement in that direction, it causes this incredible ripple further down the line. So I completely agree with what you're saying.
Yeah, and it's always nice actually when I'm speaking with businesses who are just starting out. Maybe they are like startups, so they're pre-launch, and it does happen. It's really nice when it happens. They come to B1G1 and I speak with them, and they're keen to join before they've even properly launched the business, because it's so important for them to have B1G1 embedded from day one into the foundations, to build that momentum, to start creating impact from small amounts, because it's better to start now and actually start creating an impact than waiting 2, 3, 4 years down the line. And I always think, because of how cheap it is, how little it costs to create impacts, I always think when businesses wait, think about how much giving and how many impacts they could have created in that time that they waited. So that's really, really cool. Tell me this. Obviously, you started the business some years ago now, and you've gone on quite a journey, right? With the employee ownership and B Corp and Ripples of Impact. You've done so much in that time. I'm sure when you started the business to today, the way that you saw success and what a successful business looked like has changed, right? So if you could just tell us how that shift has happened. So when you started the business out to now, how you view success, and obviously this event is called Profit Meets Purpose, right? So that keeping that profit meets that purpose theme in mind, how has that changed for you over the years?
Well, in the early days, success again was about survival. I had a baby, I had a toddler, I had to feed, and I needed to make a living. But over time, again, I think it was because I wasn't meant to be in business and I wanted to do it differently. I thought about, how can this be different? How can this, when I hired my first team member, my first employee, we call them team members, there was something there that really sparked. I really liked it. And then when I hired the next one, and then when I really enjoyed, I realized I really liked working with people, not just the children that we were teaching to backfloat, but the people that we were bringing into our community and to work with us. And then what would inspire and engage them, and what would keep them wanting to work with us. And I think the opportunities for impact, other than the work they were doing, by working with B1G1, by working with a B Corp, by doing these sorts of things, really got them excited. So that's when it turned, why I was doing this turned more into, okay, how can I continue to educate them, to help them, to grow them? And how can I give to our people, our team members, our community, and then also, the planet. We have work to do. And so this was an opportunity for us to help educate the community about how to help the planet. It really has evolved over time.
Yeah,
Yes, at the beginning it was about survival. I had to
cool.
get there. But very quickly I realized it could be about more than just making a profit.
Yeah, honestly, it's amazing. And there's no doubt in my mind, I'm sure it's the same for you, that you wouldn't be where you are today had you not had that mindset of actually giving back and creating a positive impact and doing all these amazing things for other people, not just the customers you serve, but beyond that.
Right.
That has resulted in the longevity of the business and where you are today, right?
I agree 1,000%. I really do think that because we've taken this path, it has helped the success of the business, and it will help the success of the business moving forward because we built the system of doing this. And I think that's what B1G1 helps so much with, is you don't have to think about it. It's for every this happens, for every this happens, and it just makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, it just happens in the background seamlessly, right?
Yes.
It's obviously it's something that a lot of our members, including yourself, really love about B1G1, is that it takes that hassle out of giving, right? So you can just create a positive impact just by doing what you do every day. And as well as I do, that Masami, who founded B1G1, that was the initial thought. What if every business could create a positive impact just by doing what they do every day? That's what it's about.
Absolutely.
That's why we've, as a community, as a movement, we've been able to create all of these impacts over the years. There is one other question I wanted to ask before we finish up, because we've got just a few minutes left. Before I do that, though, what I would love you to do, for those that are in attendance, I would love for you to just pop in the chat there the letter A if you think that Miren has been amazing. I think she's been better than amazing. I'd put like 4 or 5 A's in there, actually, if I could. But also, if you are listening to Miren here and you think, actually, this is really cool, and what Miren is doing with B1G1 sounds of interest, then I would love for you to let us know. It's here at B1G1, we like we've been mentioning, we integrate giving into everything we do. So just because you are here today on the call, we're going to invite you to create a positive impact. So my colleague Shabaka, who's here, she's going to pop a link and a QR code in the chat. You can either scan the QR code with your phone, or you can just click on the link, and you'll be given a few projects to choose from. We cover the cost of those projects, so all you need to do is click on the link or scan the code and choose one of those 4 projects, and we'll create that impact for you, just as a thank you for being with us at the event today. And you'll also be given the option, if you would like to explore B1G1 further, to go ahead and do that. I would love to have a chat with you if it's something that you want to just see if it's a good fit for your business and see how this might work for you. So to use the link and the QR code in the chat there, and to create that impact, to let us know if B1G1 is something you would like to explore further. Before I let you go, Miren, you've been very generous with your time as ever. What I would love you to do, for those that are here today, but also those that are going to be watching the recording, because I know a lot of people will do that haven't been able to make it, If there was one practical piece of advice that you could give to any business, and you're very well placed to give this, I'm sure, because you've been on this journey with your own, with Oak Aquatics, a practical piece of advice for embedding purpose into what you do, right? Now I know you probably could give 10 pieces of advice here, but is there anything in particular that that stands out to you on that?
I think, so many people, you mentioned it earlier, they think you work hard and then at the end of many years, you write a big check to a philanthropic organization. And I think it's so much more than that. I think the power of small is so important. And the key is to make purpose part of your daily operations. You need a system. And I think B1G1 has really helped with that system. I know it's a plug for B1G1 now by me saying that, but really you need the system. You need it to have every time something happens, this happens. Anytime we, sell a swimming lesson, anytime somebody comes to an anniversary event, anytime someone fills out a survey, these things happen. And that makes it really does ripple it just creates this ripple of impact, and it transforms our culture and it strengthens our business from the inside out. It really does. I will tell you, our financial manager tells me her favorite day of the month is when she has to go and make the impacts and do all of that, because it's just so much fun for her to do that. And it really does become fun for everyone to see where people are choosing to make their impacts. So I would start small, I would build it as part of a system, and I would start today.
Wow, love it. And I did not ask Miren to even mention B1G1
I
there.
know.
Say like, hey, plug B1G1. So, this is just obviously a really successful business and one that happens to use or to be a part of the B1G1 movement. So I appreciate those kind words. And, I think you're absolutely right. I think we've said it already. It's starting somewhere, right? It's starting small. It's not putting it off. And I do see this. I do see it with businesses that feel like they shouldn't start right now. They can't start right now. It needs to be a couple of months down the line or next year, or it goes down the priority list. I understand businesses are busy, but there has to come a point where you just have to start somewhere. So
I think I was one of those businesses at the, in the early years. I thought, okay, I'll do this as soon as I hit a certain mark in business, as soon as I do this, or as soon as I make enough. But once I changed that line of thinking and I started doing it every day, the little power of small, it transformed how we saw giving. And I think that will, I wish I could have gotten there sooner.
Yeah, well, we're glad that you got there 10 years ago, or just under 10 years ago. I sort of view it as a bit like the horizon, right? Like businesses feel like, okay, I'll once you get there, we'll join, we'll be in a position to move forward. And then you get closer to the horizon, it just gets further and further away. And for some businesses, it just never happens. For businesses like yours, you did make that decision 9 years ago now, and we're so pleased that you did. But look, we are coming up to time here. So I just want to take this opportunity, first and foremost, to say thank you so much, Miren, not just for being here and giving us your time to know how busy you are, but just for everything you have done over the last almost 10 years in the B1G1 movement, and also for everything you continue to do. You're an amazing woman and you're an amazing business owner, and I'm sure all of your team are very proud to be a part of what you do, and we're very proud to have you here with us in the B1G1 movement. So thank you very much for being here.
It was my pleasure. It was absolutely my pleasure.
Thank you again. And also thank you to everyone that's tuning in live, but also everyone that will be watching the recording, because I know we're doing this slightly later today because of Miren being in Florida. So enjoy the recording if you are watching this. The next event is coming up on the 3rd of September, which is kind of crazy to think that we are coming to the end of August already, but that's coming up on the 3rd of September. We'll be promoting that pretty soon, so you can register for that on the landing page. But yeah, thank you again, Miren. Honestly, it's been a pleasure. And thank you everyone else for being here.
Thank you.
Okay, take care. Thanks a lot. Bye.